Uh-oh. We're messed up now. We are messed up now. Here we are. Howdy, folks. I'm Doctor McFarland, and I did have a very nice Taco Tuesday meal. Basically had crunchy tacos, tortillas, meat, rice, beans. Let's see what else we had. Onions, lettuce. Let us talk about that. And tomatoes. And I had the first little burrito that I made was good. But then I got the idea to take the crunchy taco and lay it flat inside the tortilla, then put all the other stuff inside there. And then when I wrapped it, I got this nice crunch kind of sound. And then like every bite was just like so crunchy. So it was really, really good. I am technically shooting in 4K right now. And my internet speed has gone back up. So I switched back to AT&T internet, 1 gig fiber. I am paying a little bit more for that, but I think it's worth it for the extra upload speeds and also uploading my YouTube videos to the channel. It's just so much faster than having to wait, half an hour just for it to upload, which is ridiculous. So I'm using the Logitech, what is this called? Logitech Brio 4K, what do you even call this? Webcam, 4K webcam. Though technically it says it's 1080p. I don't know how all that works. But anyway, it looks decent enough. So if you can tell from my forehead, I got a little bit of sun on Sunday afternoon practicing some softball with the church. And it was a little bit hot out there. And I probably should have had a hat on. And I didn't. And that's just the way it goes. So y'all come on in. I have the chat box open here so I can see who's commenting. And I can actually share that to the screen as well. But I do have some changes that I want to go over tonight about this current channel and some other channels I have already started I'm going to be uploading to. And I'll tell you the reasoning behind that as well. But y'all come on in. Let me know who you are, where you're from. And this is the main question I want to know. When you watch a YouTube channel's videos, do you always subscribe to those channels, or do you just kind of bounce around from channel to channel, find the content that you want, but you never really subscribe? And either way, I don't think it's not going to affect me per se, but I do want to know the thought process behind viewers and why they subscribe to certain channels and why they click the bell and all that different stuff. And it will go into why I've decided to start some other channels and then dedicate this channel, Doctor McFarland Studios, as you can see right there. Get my hand in this. Doctor McFarland Studios. So I'll let you guys come in for a little bit. Be sure to chat it up, and if you have any questions for me tonight, really about anything, about Headrush, fractal stuff, studio stuff, what kind of cameras do I use, how I get my audio in and out of streaming and recording, and really just anything, let me know. I don't mind any and all questions, no matter how random they are. And we'll get the chatting tonight. So probably not going to play a lot of guitar tonight. I do have my Fractal Fractal Axe 3 and the FC12 foot controller right here beside me. And I have those dialed in. And that will be a topic for slightly later after I talk about some other stuff. So what else do I have around here? I got some AKG headphones that I've been wearing these at work, and they feel really nice, but they're also very lightweight. And I actually took these on vacation back in July, and I feel like they did a good job for what I needed. They kind of fold up really nice. You can undo the cable here, and yeah, just got some cool stuff going on there. So Aaron Hoffman's in the house. He says, I'm all about your headrush videos, watching out of Kansas. Nice. So my mom's side of the family, they grew up in Wellsville, Kansas, which is just outside of Kansas City, about an hour, a little more than an hour outside of Kansas City. And you got Ottawa and Olathe and Layton, not Layton, whatever town the main Kansas University is in. I can't remember the name of that town. But yeah, that whole area. But Wellsville is literally like an exit wide. I mean, you get off the exit, and the whole town is maybe 16 blocks wide or something. It's just not very big at all. But I've grew up visiting grandparents and aunts and uncles and stuff in Kansas, so it is a fun place to visit for sure. So most of you know me as the headrush guy. I started making headrush videos back in 2017 or so. I think about in 2017, maybe very, very late 2017 and or very, very early 2018. I feel like it was 2017 for sure. I just started getting a few videos out there, and then as the months and years went on, I just kept cranking out more and more headrush videos. And that's always fun. And I will do another headrush live stream. I'm going to start doing it the second week of the month. And that was really the bulk of my videos for the longest time. I did do some Boss ES8 stuff. I did some quilter amplification videos over the years. I do a lot of Reverend guitar reviews and playing and stuff. So if you see me play guitar, especially in the last 5 years, is more than likely a Reverend guitar of some sort. Let me grab one here. Oh. I tweaked my back yesterday lifting a lawnmower. That was smart, right? I felt like I could do it at the time. So this is a bow to your sensei, Reverend Sensei. And it's not an SG style by any means, but it is kind of like a double cutaway-ish offset kind of deal. And it has a nice belly cut right here. So it's right here. So it's very, very comfortable when you wear it to get up against your body. And really the only thing I'm not crazy about right now is the amount of wear I have on the second and third frets. So I'm going to let this ride probably really till it starts getting really bad. Make sure it's in tune and stuff, but I've been on a kick here lately of having guitars that only have stainless steel frets, so I never have to worry about wearing out the frets on in the cowboy chords. And I've tried to get some estimates on replacing just the first 5 frets to a stainless steel, but leaving the rest of them nickel. And it seems like it's just as expensive just to replace only 5 than it is to replace all of them. So it's just a balancing act between how much money I want to spend and how much do I want to invest in a guitar that I mean, I could probably sell this for around 600-ish, 650. And if I put another 300 into it just to replace the frets, you know, it's a long-term investment if I were to do that. So anyway, so the bulk of my videos, you probably see me play this guitar. I've also had a Reverend Warhawk in the past I played a lot, and a Jetstream with the 3 P90s. You've seen me play that one a lot. So a big Reverend fan. They do great stuff. Joe Naylor and Ken Haas and the crew. And every guitar is signed by whoever set it up. So ZSG, I think. This was number 34,137. So, however their numbering system works. Let me actually grab another one. Yeah, okay. So this was a recent acquisition, straight from Reverend. I got a good deal from Ken Haas on this one. And just to be full disclosure out there, who's following the Lee Anderton saga and fiasco, always disclose if you're getting discounted or free or whatever stuff. So most of my Reverends have been discounted, either because I bought them used or I got them straight from Reverend themselves. So the only guitar I paid full price for was my HPP, which I bought that straight from Sweetwater. But even then, my Sweetwater rep gave me, I think, 10% off or something. So I've never technically paid full price for a Reverend guitar, but I've come close. So, but yeah, this serial number it was signed by JG, whoever that guy is. And you can see the number is, I can't even see it, 56,807-2. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to set this guitar over here. Let's check some of the other comments here. We got Tim Fisher in the house from Minneapolis, Minnesota. So Tim has visited the Hacienda here. Get it? Hacienda Taco Tuesday. I got that Spanish theme going. I did go to a Spanish supermarket today because I forgot to get shredded lettuce for dinner, and that was the closest place I could find on my way home where I didn't have to go out of my way to get shredded lettuce. So I got a head of lettuce, and then when I got to the house, I shredded it all myself. Just chopped it up. So it's the way it is. Aaron Hoffman says my business fabricates for a dentist in Wellsville. There you go. That's pretty cool. So if you're familiar with Wellsville, you'll know Layton Real Estate, and my aunt Barbara and her little crew runs Layton Real Estate. But it was started by my great grandfather, Glenn Layton. Glenn F. Layton, and then my grandpa, which is my mom's dad, obviously. He was Glenn Layton Jr. I think he was a junior. And they ran that business for a long time until he passed away, and then my aunt took it over. So yeah, Wellsville, Kansas, very cool little town, very fun. Go to the pharmacy there and get a mud, which essentially is like vanilla ice cream, chocolate syrup, nuts, marshmallow, just all kind of swirled up together, and is delicious. Patrick Desi with an accent over the E, Desi, I don't know, from Montreal. So we got a Canadian in the house, which is cool. I welcome all Canadians, by the way, not just some of them. Yeah, Tim is like, tacos. That's right, folks. That is right. All right, so let's go ahead and get into. I feel like I'm losing people. But I also start the stream kind of late because I wait till the kids go to bed. So I think once I get ramped up, more people will come in. But you go ahead and like and subscribe down below if you haven't done so already. And click the bell so you'll be notified when I release videos, whether they are pre-made or live streamed. And here in the last year or so, I've been using Ecamm Live for all my live streams. And it allows me to do stuff like this. Tacos. And of course, my thing gets in the way. This is annoying. I can move that around, though. I can also do something like this. I think I can double click on it and give it a different theme or something like that. I can do all kinds of stuff. I haven't really messed with the Ecamm Live settings all that much, but it's been working out pretty good, and I'm fairly happy with it all. So I'll keep this kind of wish I could just get rid of this thing. Why do we even need it? I don't want it really, but it's fine. All right, so recent news of the channel. I have decided to, as a social experiment, to see if I can niche down, N-I-C-H-E, niche market, niche market, whatever you want to say it, tomato, potato, right? In order to niche down my channel and really focus on what it's called, I'm going to start separating out different topics. So I have made a separate YouTube channel called All Things Head Rush. And I'm only going to be posting Head Rush videos and live streams on that channel. So as of right now, I have about 29 subscribers with no videos yet. After this stream, I'm going to go ahead and film probably 2 or 3 or 4. Probably 2 or 3. And then go ahead and edit one of those and possibly either release it on Thursdays, or I haven't decided which day I'm going to release it on yet. But I'm going to have about 1 video a week, possibly 2, just for Head Rush content. And then I've made another channel called Fractal Audio Systems. Oh no, I don't remember what the name of the channel was. Especially a Fractal Audio Systems Weekly. I think that's what it's called. Maybe. I can't remember. I have to go look at it. And it's going to be videos only on the Fractal units. And as of right now, I only have an AXFX 3 and an FC12 foot controller. So if you're interested in all things Fractal, go and check out that channel, and I'll leave some links down below after this stream. And I could probably even pull up some stuff here. Let me close this window out. And I've signed in under my laptop, but I need to add all those logins to my main one here. Let's see. Let's do all things Head Rush. And there we are. I will copy this link to the chat. Like so. So if you want to go check out that channel, you can. I will be posting videos up there very, very soon. And then we also have, so I couldn't do fractal because there's also like light fractals and other types of fractals out there, which is kind of weird. So with the name like Fractal Audio Systems Weekly, I'm basically just going to make weekly content for that. And that was the most appropriate name I could come up with at the time without using too many brain cells. So basically if it wasn't taken already, then that's the thing. So I have repurposed my last Fractal FM3 video series for my Doctor McFarland Studios channel onto the that new channel, and there's currently 1 subscriber. So very, very cool. And there's a few views going on so far on those videos, which is great. So yeah, not like I'm trying to compare and contrast Headrush versus Fractal or anything like that. But I just want to really experiment and see if I just make videos on one certain topic, like how well can that channel do versus having a channel like I currently have that I just kind of do a hodgepodge of topics, but not really get any traction with any of them, right? So right now, the bulk of my views are on Headrush videos, but everything else is like 100 views there, 200 views in another place. Nothing really like life changing, or I'm not getting millions of views a month on anything really. So, Patrick said he just subscribed, so thank you very much for that. And yeah, I want to kind of branch out a little bit. And what that means for this channel, Doctor McFarland Studios, is I will be focusing a lot more on the recording side of things and music production. And that's all about microphones, like this little microphone here, and or audio interfaces, cables, how to wrap cables, how to choose a microphone for your studio, stuff like that. DAW controllers, studio desks, studio furniture, studio layout, how to build a studio of your own, whether that's just in your bedroom or maybe you have a detached garage that's unfinished and you want to make it into your own personal production area. That's a very, very easy thing to do with a little bit of time and money and some sweat and some tears and all that. We can talk about rack gear. We can talk about different instruments we use in the studio. I personally have a digital studio, which means I have an audio interface that is a Studio Live Series 3 mixing board, which has digital preamps. Well, it's not digital preamps. They're analog preamps, but they're digitally controlled. I can also control this with an iPad, which is really cool. Right back here, behind me, you can see I have an F-Note 5 kit. And I technically turned it into a 5X by adding another high tom and another crash cymbal. So that was a worthwhile investment, so I didn't have to make tons of noise up here, but still get really good drum sounds. And then you can see right behind me, I have a vocal booth. So we can talk about how to incorporate isolation into your studio if you feel like you need something like that. So really just all things about recording and music production. That's what this channel is primarily going to be about. And we're going to talk about plugin reviews, DAWs, whether that's Reaper, Pro Tools, Studio One. My personal favorite is Mixbus 32C. And I also happen to work for Harrison Consoles, which is now Harrison Audio, for all those who are keeping up with all that side of things in the recording realm. So Harrison Audio doing some very cool stuff. We have teamed up with Audiotonics. Actually, we were acquired by Audiotonics, and then they are therefore teaming us up with SSL to do plugin bundles, and we're releasing some hardware later this year and early next year and moving forward. So there's just all kinds of great things going on in the recording world that I feel like I don't get to talk about as much because I'm mainly focused on the Headrush stuff and guitar, more guitar related stuff, which I can still do guitar reviews, but kind of spin it in the form of, hey, here's a guitar, and this happens to have humbuckers in it, but this is why you would want to pick this guitar for this kind of sound for recording. So somehow if I tie it all back into recording, then it all makes more sense. So I have like I said, I have the Doctor McFarland Studios right here. So we're going to be talking about studio stuff. But I want to have a good place where all my Headrush stuff can live moving forward. So therefore, that's why we have the All Things Headrush channel, and we have the Fractal Audio Systems Weekly channel, so I can talk about some fractal stuff. And if I decide in the future to get a Kemper again or a Helix or something like that, I can just make a separate channel for that content and then let that grow. So the only downside to all this is, since the Headrush videos were the bulk of my views and also my AdSense, I will not be making as much money for a little while on Google AdSense ads every month. So I'll probably see my income go down just a little bit, but it's not like I'm making tons of money on this channel anyway, folks. I kind of average between 150 to 250 depending on what time of the year it is. So I'm not making mad money on this channel anyway, and the bulk of my money that comes from making videos is selling products through my website. So if you are a Headrush fan and you want to dive deeper into all things Headrush, then check out my Headrush bundle, which is on the site, drmcfarlandstudios.com. And I will not be separating all those things out. I'll keep my courses where they're at on my main website, but I'll use separate YouTube channels to point to the website. And there will also be more specialized links in the description, so you know exactly when you're watching a Headrush video, you'll see just a few links in the description part. So you're not bogged down with all the affiliate links and all that different stuff. Because affiliate links, I mean, they're good, but it's not like tons of people utilize those on my channel anyway. So the more I can just kind of really bring everything down to the basics and just focus on one certain topic, and I can push courses that talk about just that certain topic, then maybe I can get some more income doing that thing. So Sonic DNA Studios is in the house, aka Greg Barth. So I did share the All Things Headrush channel on a few Facebook groups earlier this week or over the weekend when I first created them. So like I said, I got about, let me refresh this page here. Still one subscriber on there. And let me go back to my All Things Headrush. 27 subscribers on there-ish. So I feel like I had 29, and now I have 27. See, there you go. That's the life of a YouTuber. So that's the way it goes. But yeah, that is the gist of my talking points as far as new updates that's going on. I'm just focusing on more specific channels and only talking about those topics on those channels, and leaving the Doctor McFarland Studios channel as more of a recording production type channel. I think it still gives me lots of flexibility there. I can still do reviews of certain products and stuff like that. But I have so much to talk about when it comes to recording guitars and drums and bass and vocals that I really just haven't touched on yet on my channel before, because I have been so review heavy on guitars and pedals and amps and stuff like that. So yeah, y'all go ahead and ask some questions here, and let's talk about your stuff. Enough about me. Let's talk about you. Tac-O-Bout you. And I'm just going to take a sip of water here. Mute my mic so I can be proper. Aaron Short's in the house. Yes, he is. I did not get online very much on Monday since it was Labor Day, so I don't know if you went live yet or not, Aaron, but I'm sure you did. Or maybe you didn't. Aaron's channel is really good. He goes live every Monday around 4 o'clock Eastern time, which is 3 p.m. my time. Or sometimes he goes live at 2 Eastern and 1 p.m. if he has an early gig or something like that. But Go check out his channel if you like a lot of acoustic guitar talk and just gear for gigging musicians type stuff, which is really cool. That's right. All you need is the quad cortex. There's so many things nowadays that sound great. It's just a matter of, I think it's a matter of getting your mindset away from it has to be a tube amp, it has to be real pedals, you have to have a cab on stage, all this different stuff. Now, in Aaron's case, he's already let the cat out of the bag that he is using a power amp, a solid state power amp, with his quad cortex going into stereo guitar cabs. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, having the digital front end, but you have more of an analog back end, which is perfectly viable thing to do. Perfectly viable thing to do nowadays, and it's the same thing with recording. I mean, I talk to guys all the time about plugins and which DAW you should use, even though I am a little bit biased because I work for a console company that also has their own DAW. But I always tell people, it's like, look, when I listen to music, I don't know how it was made. I mean, you can go research some stuff, but I mean, especially here in the 21st century, more than likely it was recorded in Pro Tools, mixed in Pro Tools, or it could have been recorded and mixed in Cubase or Studio One or Harrison Mixbus or Reaper. I mean, Logic. I mean, just Bitwig. I mean, just name Freeloop or FL Studio, right? Ableton Live. I mean, just so many different DAWs now that have great tools that you can use. Tons of, lots of stock plugins that are really good that you can do all your EQ and compression with. So I tell people that, yeah, all those things are great and they're just tools for music creation. But when I listen to music, whether that's through Tidal or YouTube or Amazon or Spotify, wherever you choose to listen to music at, CD, cassette, 8-track, vinyl, whatever it is, we don't know all the details that went into making the music. So therefore, the music should just speak for itself. If you hear a great song with a great mix, then I don't really care how you made it. I don't care if you had 10 plugins on your vocal chain or 0 plugins in the whole session. Maybe you just use stock processing the whole time. You just were really good at balancing faders and doing different stuff, right? So it's very easy to get bogged down, just like it's easy to get bogged down in the guitar world of, you have to have a tube amp versus modeling is fine or whatever. The same exact goes for recording, which is why I want to talk more about recording here on the channel. Is, man, if you only knew what it took to make a great song. First, you have to write the song. You have to write it really well. Like the lines have to rhyme a certain way, so it's catchy. You have to have a good melody, a good hook. The music part needs to complement what the lyrics are saying. That has to be first. And then you go into, okay, what kind of computer do I need? What kind of interface do I need? What kind of microphone am I talking into? Is it a cheap Amazon Neumann knockoff, or is it a actual Neumann microphone? And does it even really matter? Maybe it just doesn't matter. As long as the song is good, there's really little you can do to screw that up. Maybe if the drums don't sound as tight as they could have, okay, some recording things could have been better. Having poor musicians, not poor as in like they don't have money, but like having bad musicians on your recording where they can't play in time, they can't play in tune. Okay, that's going to kill a song way faster versus which microphone did you choose. because performance trumps gear all day 24/7. If you have a great performance, it doesn't matter if you sang into an SM57, an SM7B, a TLM 103, AT 4040, a Neumann 67, 87, Telefunken crap, whatever. It just doesn't matter. If the performance isn't good, then nothing else really matters. So, yeah, so it's just easy. It's very easy to go down that rabbit trail of, oh, which mic did he use? I mean, I can't get that same sound if I don't even have the same mic. It's like, dude, you're thinking about the wrong things, man. The wrong things. Aaron is saying, as far as his quad cortex setup goes, he can either go direct to PA, use in-ears, or use a stereo cabs. I have options is great. Yeah, you can have all kinds of options. That's wonderful. But at the end of the day, the audience is going to show up and they're going to hear you sing and you play. So I know you want to be happy with your own sound, like internally. But if you showed up to a gig, Aaron, and you sang out of tune and your rhythm was all off, nobody would hire you back anyway. So it doesn't matter if you have a $3,000 guitar setup if you can't sing and play. I mean, you kind of have to have that first. So thankfully for Aaron Short, he's a great singer and a great player. So he has the options to accentuate what he's already doing behind the mic with some really awesome gear. I really like in-ears now, but the cabs do sound great in the room. Well, yeah, sure. And the room, the sound bouncing around the room is very exciting. You know, you don't necessarily get that when you wear headphones or have in-ears. Let's see what else he said. Do you know how to take a project in a DAW that isn't recorded to a click and make it perfectly quantized? Logic can do that, but there's two different rules. It's not rules, but two different trains of thought there. A new feature that's going to be in Harrison Mixbus 32C is, well, it's kind of always been there, but there's now a feature to where you can take something that hasn't been recorded to a click and you can align the grid to the performance. So that way, when you add MIDI and other stuff, they all kind of line up, but you're not actually moving. You're not stretching the audio back and forth. So what you're wanting to do, Aaron, is actually record something with no click at all. And then you want to probably kind of find the nearest tempo that you did play at. And then you're saying you want to take that audio and stretch it in or out to make it conform to a set tempo. And that's a viable way of doing things, as long as the digital audio workstation does not introduce a lot of digital artifacts from the time stretching algorithm. A lot of DAWs are really good about it, and some aren't that great. Reaper has always been pretty good at stretching. Logic works fairly well. Ableton Live, I think, is probably the best that I've seen as far as like time stretching stuff goes. Because you could take a piano, like a multi-timbral piano, and grab little warp markers and move them around, and like you don't hear any weirdness in the audio at all, which is really cool. So yeah, it is possible to do that. Yes, Aaron, it's an important factor that you like the sound more than anybody else. But to everybody else, they just care if you sing in tune and play in time. So it does work both ways for sure. Patrick is saying, I just found out yesterday how important it is to know how many of your effects in your modeler are stereo capable. Example, delays. Yes, most delays, you'll either have a mono option or a stereo option. But if you're going out of your modeler into one single speaker, it doesn't matter if your delays are stereo, your reverbs are stereo or not, because you're summing everything down to a mono signal at the end of the chain. Now, if you had two speakers, coming out of the left and right outputs of your modeler, then yes, you will get the stereo effect that you desire. But if you have a mono delay, you're not going to get that stereo-ness that you want. You have to choose a stereo delay or stereo reverb for that type of effect. Andrew Collins is in the house, the local Helix connoisseur. Connoisseur, that's really more for food, right? I don't know. Let's talk about it. Can you run two signals from the Helix? I have a PRS hollow body piezo guitar and I want to run the piezo clean. Can you run two signals from the Helix? There's multiple inputs on the Helix, so I would think you could go your dual outputs of your guitar into two different inputs on the Helix, and then run those. You got like two different, I can't do this right, two different paths, two different DSP cores that you can run one signal chain in and out on the top row, then another one on the bottom row. And the top row can just be for your actual guitar, then the electric part, and then the bottom part can be for your piezo, and therefore that's how you would have keep your signal paths separate from each other, and still have certain effects on the electric side and certain effects you want on your piezo side. So it's kind of cool. It's a cool way of doing it. PRS P22 piezo. That's cool. Aaron Short has some karaoke version songs, but many are not recorded to a click. It's weird. Yeah, it is weird. I would do this. Those karaoke's cannot be that far off. I would be more apt to do some tempo mapping, which essentially says start at bar 1, and then that's going to be your certain tempo. And then as long as those grid lines line up, you're good. But once they start drifting off, you set another tempo marker where the last correct tempo was, and now you move that grid to match the next transient that is off. So you put it back on with the grid. Now that's your new tempo. And then you keep going until the next part starts getting off, and you take that and move it. So you're tempo mapping the whole song, which for a 3-minute song is not, it might take you 10 minutes or so maybe to do one song. But I'm pretty sure Logic has a built-in tempo analyzer, so it'll read your waveform and it'll automatically go in and add all the tempo marks for you. And then what you can do after that is you can record a click track based on that. You can record a click onto an empty audio track. So that way you have this is how most choir CDs are made. You have the choir on the left side, but you have your click track on the right side. And it doesn't matter how you pan those during your live performance. You still have a fully left music bed. Then you have a fully right click track. So that allows you to play the music to the audience, but your click is only in your in-ears because you can separate the two. And as long as you have that click track going, if it sways or ebbs and flows, like, maybe it starts at 120, it might go up to 122, Then it goes back down to 121. Then it kind of goes up to 122. Then back down to 120. And then maybe it goes to 119. I mean, that little ebb and flow is not going to throw you off too much. But Logic is really good. I'm saying Logic because I know Aaron uses Logic Pro 10. I would say if you wanted to conform the whole track to the nearest tempo, then that should be very doable. I don't see why not. So Andrew says exactly, if you sound like crap, it doesn't matter what kind of equipment you have. Well, the better you are at performing, the more picky you can be about gear. But straight off the bat, if you're not a good guitar player or you can't sing in tune, then the most expensive mic is not going to help you, and the most elaborate guitar setup is not going to help you. You should probably just start with a basic Squier Strat and maybe a Blues Junior. Not really a Blues Junior. Probably just get like a Boss Katana because it sounds pretty good anyway. And just really work on your skills playing with like the cheaper gear. And then once your ears get better and you can perform more, much better, then you can start upgrading your pieces if you want. Now, Jack Pearson, he always plays on Squier guitars most of the time. Always, most of the time, it's not very correct, but more times than not, Jack Pearson's playing on a Squier, and he just slays it. He just sounds really, really good. So it's the way it is. And Aaron Short is agreeing. Obviously, you have to be a good player first. I mean, it just goes without saying. I mean, John Mayer would not be who he is today if he didn't already have that pizzazz and that charisma and a little bit of ego and the chops to back up what he does night after night. Now, the fact that he chose to play Dumble amps and two rocks and really expensive amplifiers, I mean, that's his prerogative to do that, but it's not to say that he couldn't just play through a Fender Deluxe, which he could probably find used for about $600 or $700. Coldplay, for instance, they travel around the world playing Hot Rod Deluxes and DeVilles. And I read at some point that they do that because if an amp goes down, you can always go to a local guitar shop and find a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe, a Fender Hot Rod DeVille, $500 to $800 a piece, depending on if they're used or brand new. And they just sound great night after night. So you don't have to invest tons of money into tube amps that are overly expensive if you just don't want to. I mean, Coldplay is a great example of that. So the interesting thing that non-musicians often comment on acoustic tones, so it's not that the audience don't know what good tone is. That is true. The audience can tell if you sound good or not, regardless of your singing in tune or whatnot. I mean, they can listen to a band and know if they sound good, but that doesn't mean you can't get away with showing up to a gig with a Fender Squier and a PV Viper amplifier. I mean, you can get some great tone. If you know how to dial in the tones, you can dial in the tones on anything. So at that point, it just comes to the fact of, it's just a matter of how well are your ears tuned to dialing in different sounds on different gear. So, Michael Foot is in the house. He caught me. Oh, we got a Superman guy here on the stream. I should have been wearing my Superman pajama pants. We could have fit right in. I remember to get some water from the fridge downstairs. I need them quantized. Well, that's fine. So, going back to the quantization of karaoke tracks, you literally just start on bar one, find the rough estimate of what the track kind of is, and once it starts getting off, set your boundary on the correct measure, and then just take that warp marker and just nudge it right over, and then just keep going with that until you do the whole song, and it shouldn't take you very long. Play behind some karaoke songs. All right, so the song has a click, so I just need to map that. I mean, sure. As long as the click and the music are in a group, so when you adjust the click, it also adjusts the music along with it, because you don't want to start adjusting the click track but not editing the music side as well, if that makes sense. Yeah, Andrew Collins, you for those who don't know, he's a frequent viewer of the live stream, and he also plays live gigs as well. So it's good. It's good being able to play live. I played a gig with the Harley Benton. I didn't miss a beat. There's a lot of guys on YouTube that like the Harley Benton stuff. And Aaron had a Harley Benton for a little while. Ended up selling it. I don't know why. Why'd you do that? Yeah, for some people they just have to have name brand recognition, which is perfectly fine. If you're just not connecting with something like you want to, then sell it off. When you die, there's no one saying, "Oh man, he really played that Harley Benton," you know. I mean, when I died, no one's gonna care what I played. I mean, I'm a nobody, but I like what I like, and I like Reverend guitars. I like Eastman guitars. I like Kiesel guitars. I do have a Gibson right now, even though it's for sale on Reverb, just to free up some cash, and I can always buy another one later. I mean, I don't care. They're just stuff. And the more I live, the more I realize that. So last night I kind of had a distraught thing happen to me. Very terrible thing. So I've been playing softball with the church group, and I usually leave my glove in the car, but I think after the last game or something, last practice, whatever it was, I took it inside the house. Some co-op families over for homeschool, and the kids went outside and played some baseball in the backyard, which is perfectly fine. And I guess they found my glove that I left in the kitchen, or in the little on the island there in the kitchen. So they took it outside and played baseball. Once again, I don't care. It is what it is. But they ended up leaving the bat and the glove out in the yard instead of bringing it back in. Well, what happens is my wife goes and mows the yard last night because she likes riding the zero-turn lawnmower, and I don't really care. She can do what she wants if that's what she likes doing. And she doesn't see my glove, and she runs over the glove and like technically destroys it. I mean, it's not totally shredded. It can be salvaged, but it's not in the great shape that it was in before. And this was my dad's glove. This was a glove he had 40 years ago. So it's probably 40 years old, if not more. And so I got a little sentimental. I probably shed a tear or two. And at the end of the day, though, it's just a glove. I mean, yeah, it belonged to him, and I have it. and my son could probably have it next if I end up fixing it up, you know. But you get sentimental about stuff, so people get really attached to name brands, whether that's guitar brands, amplifier brands. They only play certain pedals, you know. All that's well and good, but when you die, it's not gonna matter. It's just not gonna matter. I mean, we know Jimi Hendrix played a Marshall stack and a Fender Strat. Stevie Ray Vaughan played Fenders. Eric Clapton, he's still alive, but he's played Gibson and Fenders. He was a first offender, right? No, actually, he was a first at Gibson and then a Fender. First offender. It's a lawyer joke. But yeah, we get so caught up in like we have to play certain things, but if we didn't play them, I mean, nobody would really care if we did or not, you know, especially me. I mean, I'm a nobody, so no one's going to care what I play. Curtis is in the house asking a question. If you can play the soul out of a guitar, a bad tune can usually be forgiven and or overlooked. Bad tune, as in like a poorly written song? Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Andrew's in the house again. Have you seen the new Les Paul guitars in those cool new colors? I have seen some advertisements. Let's see here on Facebook. I've seen purple, I think. Maybe some kind of green something. And they have lowered the prices a little bit, so they're from instead of 2500, they're more like 2100 or so. Let me go here. There's a modern collection. Ooh, yeah. They pretty. Yeah, like a Les Paul Modern, that was like $3,000. So for me, spending that much money on a Kiesel, I mean, I don't really feel that bad. Les Paul Tributes, $12.99. Yeah, I've seen those new guitars, but I hadn't. I don't see them here on the website. Translucent Cherry, Heritage Cherry, Sunburst, Ebony. Yeah, all these are like $2,200. Man, my back is killing me. Les Paul Standard. So the one I have is a Les Paul Traditional. And it's a Honeyburst, which I really like. And it definitely has that 50s neck. It has a thicker neck to it. So there's a standard. You don't really see traditionals for sale anymore. You can only buy them used. They kind of did Gibson did the traditional thing. Back from like 2010 to 2012 or something like that. Now, my friend who I used to be in a band with, he is in another band now. And him and the other guitar player both got a Flying V and a Explorer from Gibson. And that was really cool. Big fingers, tiny touchpad, not tone. Yeah. I prefer if you were in tune. I mean, I really do. Hey, I like that. Blue Burst. Yeah, I'm not seeing them on the site right this second. I don't know why. I'll go to the home page here. Custom color series. Maybe that's it. Plain top blue. Just kind of looking. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. Killing me softly with his guitar. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So I do need to make a confession here. I'm a little behind on my backing tracks on my website. I did not upload any for the month of August. I just been really busy. But once I get 4 loaded up there, I'll go ahead and upload more for the month of September, and then finish out the rest of the year strong. And by the way, that is a year's worth. When I'm done with all this, you'll get a year's worth of backing tracks for $20. So it's a lot of work, and I'm definitely not charging enough for that. But I mean, you can get backing tracks on YouTube all day long. I know that, but if you wanna help support what I do here on YouTube through my website, then go to the website, pay your one-time $20 fee for just this year, and get 52 weeks worth of backing tracks that range from like pop to rock to blues. Not tons of country right now, but I can change that here in the next few months by uploading some more country style tunes and all that. So yeah, I pop my knuckles a lot. I do that. Popping the knuckles. I feel like let me go back to my. I did make one more YouTube channel. Let's see where this is at here. This is called Nylon String Adventures. Come on now. Where is it at? Where is it at? Channels. Let's look for channel types. Man, I'm not seeing it. Nylon String Adventures. Yeah, I'll find the channel and put it in the put it down there somewhere. Basically, I want to get back into playing classical guitar, so I'm working on my nails a little bit, getting them growing back out, and then so I want to upload at least one video a week on my classical guitar, whether that's tone tips, techniques, or just playing songs. And then eventually I can start uploading some covers and some originals to streaming services. So that'll be another income stream, hopefully down the road once I get that built up to a certain amount. So I can get some extra money doing that, just playing some classical guitar stuff. And then eventually when I get a good 30 to 45 minute set worked up, I can go play weddings, private events. If I need some cool background classical music, I can do that. That'll just be another way for me to get out there and do some gigs here around Nashville or anywhere that wants to fly me out and play a wedding or something. So I will take requests. Hopefully, if I build up my my knowledge of different songs, and as long as my nails hold up and I can play like I want. So I don't know why I can't see my channel here. Let me do this. This is not showing up. I know I made it. So here in the last week, since I've decided to do more classical type stuff. I've been watching a lot of classical guitar players on YouTube, and there's some really good ones out there. Really, really good ones. Well, this is disheartening. I can't find my own channel. I probably need to. I probably need to upload a video to it, and then that will be more discoverable, hopefully. All right, so let's check the questions here. Let me check some other stuff. Michael Foot has Superman pajama pants, so that's good. Anyone here ever try the carving Kiesel Allen Holdsworth guitar? I like the idea of guitar, but never seen one in person. I have not. I've watched some videos of different people reviewing the guitars. To me, I'm not a big fan of the body shape. It's so small. And though I would like to try a headless guitar, I don't know if I would need to find one and play it first, without shelling over lots of money on something that I may not even like. So, Thomas says, "Like to see you do some tone matching on the headrush, preferably for a Super Reverb 410. Tone matching." Yeah, with me not having an actual Super Reverb with me, that might be a little bit hard, but I did share a link to my new Headrush channel a little higher in the chat. It's called All Things Headrush, and I'm going to start separating out all my video, my Headrush and my Fractal video topics onto different channels. So that way the Doctor McFarland Studios channel can just be about production and recording, interfaces, microphones, external, outboard gear, plugins, DAWs, stuff like that. So, Dennis Myers is in the house. I checked into one of your live streams about 4 weeks ago. I had the gig board with the loose power cord issue. After that night, I called. You contacted Headrush, and my gig board is currently being serviced under warranty. Nice. So that's good. There's really not that many people out there with Headrush issues, but the ones that do have them, yes, they definitely, Headrush needs to take care of those people. So that's good. Andrew Collins says, "I'm glad I sold my Headrush. A lot of people are experiencing the Rainbow of Death on their unit." Well, when you say a lot of people, I mean, you're talking 1% out of the whole entirety of Headrush users. So, I mean, maybe 1% is too low. Maybe it's too high. I don't know. But the people with the issues are usually the loudest when it comes to online presence, especially when you start going into forums and Facebook groups and stuff like that. Like, it's never the people that have good things to say. It's always the people that have bad things to say. So if you see 5 posts in a day about the Rainbow of Death, but 5,000 other users are just fine, then you'd be tricked into thinking, oh, all these people are having issues. Remember, really not. I never really had any Headrush issues myself. So, Denny says, "Thanks, I really enjoy it." No, Curtis, I literally just made it the other day. I literally just made it. So it's definitely hadn't been deleted by any means. I can try and sign in real fast. Let me move some stuff around here. Let me delete that. I don't need to sign in right this second, but I just want to check it out. Add an account. Use another account. Nylon String Adventures. Not now. All right, I'm logged in now, so I'm definitely here. So I will make an official looks like the internet went out for a bit, but we're back. Andrew, I don't really keep up with Helix all that often, but if they're working on something, they're doing it behind the scenes and they'll come out with whatever they're going to do. They might end up going some kind of touchscreen maybe in the future. I'm not sure. I tried DC 400 about 1,000 years ago. Wow. Back when it first came out. I can't remember if I liked it, but I don't remember if it had a lot of knobs and switches. Yeah, I did freeze. Sorry about that. All right, so here's my Nylon String Adventures YouTube channel. So if you could, pretty please check out that channel and give it a sub. And then more than likely before the week is over, I'll have at least 1 or 2 videos up. Kind of starting off on my my nylon string adventure. This is really why I called it that. And I could eventually start doing some interviews with either local or international acclaimed whoever classical guitar players. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and I can be working toward finding some people to interview, add on the channel, and all that stuff. So, and why I like classical guitar versus just playing electric all the time is when you're playing electric guitar, it's very easy to get caught up in the tone, right? You got to have great tone. You got to have all the different amps and all the different effects. And with classical guitar, it's just you and your instrument, and that's it. If you sound bad, it's because you sound bad. It's not really the instrument's fault. So, Dennis Meyer says he subscribed. Woo! Yay! Cool. Yeah, I found a picture of an old crappy nylon string guitar on the internet and just used that for now. I'll probably update it later to something else. But yeah, we got 2 subscribers. Cool. Yeah, so on this channel, you'll see performance videos, tips, and techniques for the classical guitar. Yeah, I have a lot of classical books that I still had from my college years. And I'm kind of slowly picking out some songs that I can start off with nice and slow and get my technique back and going and get used to reading again. I mean, I can read fine as far as guitar music goes. But it's just getting into the practice of sight reading every day, getting my fingers moving, Make sure I oil my cuticles and all that stuff so my nails stay nice and strong while I'm playing. So, yeah, it's about 10:11 right now. I'm probably going to go take some Advil or some Tylenol for my back and uh, go to bed here. I'm tired, man. I'm so tired. But I do appreciate everyone coming in on a Tuesday night, hanging out with me for the last hour or so. It's been fun. Yeah, I do too, and I'm kind of at a crossroads right now. Here lately, since I don't have nails just yet, I've been playing with the flesh of my fingers, and it has a nice warm, round tone to it. It's not as precise as nails, because when you play with the flesh, you're always plucking at a slightly different point on the tip of your fingers, right there. Versus nails, which you can tend to kind of strike the same part of your nail every single time. So you're more consistent with your sound and your tone and your technique, sound, tone, technique. But yeah, it's just very relaxing to just sit there on the couch or in a chair or wherever you're at and just kind of pluck and play and all the different stuff. So the next thing I'm going to be looking at getting is it's this thing that you attach to your guitar, so you can keep both legs flat on the floor, but your guitar is still angled up, and it's just like this little suction cup thing that rests on your leg that raises the guitar up to the right angle that you want, and otherwise you have to have a footstool, and you have to hawk your leg up in the air, which my back is always not that great anyway. So having something like that will be worthwhile. And after I put some videos out on YouTube, I might start contacting some different classical guitar companies that sell accessories, and maybe look into doing reviews for like classical guitar capos, leg rests, strings, like just all kinds of different stuff. So there's many different avenues I can take down this one little classical guitar thing that I got going on here, which is going to be cool. So, all right, guys, I appreciate everyone watching and sticking with me through thick and thin over the years. And whether you're brand new to the channel or you've been around here for a while, this is me. This is just what I do. I talk about gear all the time. And now with my new vision for this channel, it'll primarily be music production and recording, and all about interfaces, microphones, mic pre's, plugins, DAWs, mixing, like live stream mixing, using my little, you can't see this right now, but I have a PreSonus Fader Port 16. Let me grab my camera here. Kind of see this a little bit. It's bad. So stuff like that, I can sit here and I can mix with the faders and all that fun stuff. So yeah, and I have the Studio Live Series 3 mixing board. I have a little bit of rack gear over here, some external mic pre's, headphone amp that you can see the volumes going up and down on. Some rack drawers to store some little odds and ends onto. Some hard drives. It's kind of messy over here right now. I'll get all this cleaned up. I got my little light that I use to shine on myself. There's the other camera that I haven't been using tonight. My RCF speakers. I got some stuff on the walls. My other light over there. I have a cloud above my head. There's another rack thing that was a fail. I didn't end up finishing. And Yeah, there's the fractal stuff down there with the SC12. Got the couch behind me. And then the rest of the room with the guitar cases I need to move around. I got the booth. I got the drum set back there. I have the little piano station for people that want to play piano. So yeah, on this little wall where you see me pointing at right now, I need to add some more wall panels for XLR connections, XLR quarter inch, and USB connections. So I can connect everything to my computer. So anyway, I'm going to hold this webcam here and say goodbye to everybody. Thanks, guys, for watching. I am Dr. McFarland. I will be here next Tuesday talking about gear, and hopefully I'll have some videos up on my other channels for you to check out, whether that's Headrush, Fractal, classical guitar, maybe some plug-in reviews. I'm not quite sure yet. And Andrew Collins says he wants to set up a home studio, so I can definitely help you with that. So I've done my fair share of setting up home studios over the years, and it's not hard. It's just got to decide what kind of gear you want and go from there. So thanks, guys, for watching. I'm Dr. McFarland. I'll see you in the next video. Keep rocking.